Hello everyone, welcome to ZOR, Pilgrimage of the Slorfs. This is coming out in early access on August 30th, and the code was kindly provided to me by the developers to check out the game ahead of time. I've played the tutorial just to get to grips with things and see what it's about, but in a nutshell, it's a deck building, turn-based strategy game that kind of takes some of the elements of deck building from something like a Slay the Spire with the hexagonal combat that you might associate with something like a Gloomhaven. So we have Trial and Pilgrimage. I assume Trial is going to be a slightly more basic experience than a Pilgrimage just because the button is smaller. So let's start there and I'll talk you through the mechanics of things as we go. The Elder Slorf asks, "Good luck and be thoughtful, for we must have the eye of the big Grimp." So our quest is to get to the end of this series of encounters and kill a big Grimp in order to get its eye, because they need one to fix a telescope or something. So you have the world around us here, and you can roughly see it is divided into hexagons. These are our two heroes, Gorb and Holger, the Slorfs, doing a lap of the UI here. We've got the day, the place, and whose turn it is, our goal, the menus. This green thing up here is a crystal that we can use as a currency for upgrading stuff when we're camping in between encounters. We have an initiative track here on the left. We can see whose turn it is, how much health they have, how much water they have, and how much food they have. Water and food are the main things that are used in order to pay the costs that are on our cards. So Explore here costs 2 food, Harvest costs 2 water, but there is food and water available throughout the level. So we can see this tile here is a mushroom patch, and if we enter or harvest next to it, we get +2 food. What I can't see anywhere on this map is a water tile, and so if we can't refresh our water, that's going to be problematic. We have a deck of cards, we have a discard pile, and we always get to play 1 card per character per round of initiative. So I think we're going to want to do this fairly quickly, although our water can be used for harvesting, whereas the food is used for fighting, and the fighting seems to be the slightly more important thing here. When we play a card, each card gives us a number of actions. We can move 1 tile for 1 action, or we can attack for 1 action. I think the first attack costs 1 action, and then the second attack costs 2 actions if you want to attack within the same turn. So I'm going to take this Explore card here, put it over my guy, and then we're going to move to this tile here, fill up 2 food, and then we're going to attack this Grimp Runt for 1. They drop a crystal, and now we have Holger's turn. Now, if you're worried about what your foes are doing, you can hover over them, and we can see that the Grimp Runt here, I'm going to make that mistake several times I'm sure, is a 1/1 health creature, and it has 1 action per turn, and it can spend 1 action to bash. So if it's going to move for 1, it won't be able to bash us in the same turn, which is good for us. There are other things around the world as well, such as sticks and runes. We can discover recipes and get sticks for crafting, which will come up later. So we need to clear out all enemies. That is just the Grimp and the Gimp Grunt. So what are we going to do? Well, we have motivation here. We can move for 3, and the card doesn't cost us anything. So how about we go 1, 2, 3. We're full up on food. These guys are doing their moving. Now, I really want to attack the Grimp Runt, and that's going to be fine because we can Explore for 2. We can attack for 1, and then we can move afterwards to collect the experience. Back over here, we don't want to get hit if it can be helped. When we go back to camp in between encounters, our food and our water will increase to maximum, but our health will not. So our health is our most valuable resource. So this one has 1 action, and its bash costs 1. So if it moves towards me, it's not going to be able to attack me this round, so that's fine. Let's walk on to this recipe here. A petroglyph. Enter to discover a recipe. New recipe learned. Studying the etched glyphs, an incredible idea is discovered. A hiking staff. Give Slorf 2 actions. Alright, so we will probably be able to craft that later. Everything else is going to go. Let's just walk into this experience. And then over here, we would like to hit this, and then, if possible, perhaps retreat. And with a motivation for 3 actions, we can move in, attack, and then retreat, fill up our food with these mushrooms. They move in 1. We can take a walk, grab a stick. And here we have the lazy card. Give Slorf 2 actions, but it costs 3 food. So they look like the same, but lazy is a little bit worse because we are being a bit more gluttonous to do it. But right now, for what we have, we can just swipe to attack adjacent target for 1 damage. And the enemies are cleared. That will put a make camp card in our hand, but we don't have to make camp right away. If we want to spend our food and our water that remains in order to gain some supplies, we absolutely can. However, around here, we just have this 1 experience. So let's show off another mechanic. We don't want to do anything this turn, so we can take the explore card here and pass it over to the discard pile, and that will pay the cost of the card in order for us to pass. Now, I want to get this experience, so we'll do an explore, step over to the experience, and we can move here because we have more actions left, and then we can make camp. The card is free. We come to our rest in between encounters. So we survived the day. Look at what we achieved. We get 1 gem for going out on the daily adventure, and 3 from combat. 2 sticks were gathered, and we learned about hiking staffs. So here we are in our nice safe camp screen. These 2 chilling out by the fire. We can see everything that we have about ourselves. We can go and start the next day when we're ready. We can come and manage our deck of cards. So this is our starting deck. We will hopefully be able to get new cards soon, but we need specific cards to be in specific slots. But we do have 4 crystals that we can upgrade our cards with. So let's go for 2 2s, shall we, and get the most out of this. So walk here is a 1 food, 1 action card. The Slorfs are learning. Upgrade with this card. Upgrade the selected card with selected card. Okay, so the walk is going to become an explore. It's going to cost more food to do it, though. Let's see what our options down here are first. Choose from 3 random upgrades out of 7 possible for our swipe. Go on then. So we can have a big strike to do 2 damage. We can rush, charge to target with a straight line of range 3 and attack for 1 damage. Times plus 1 damage for each tile travelled. Card does not reshuffle. I think that sounds pretty exciting. And a punch with knockback. Target adjacent target for 2 damage and knock them back 1 tile. Let's go for rush. It's going to be able to move us across the board quickly and do some damage. How about harvest? Select a upgrade. We can make it cost less water. We can harvest within range 2. Or we can harvest all tiles within 1 of the target. 3 water. I think that's a bit expensive. Let's get a longer range harvest going. Then we can go back. Now, something else you might want to know is if we have 3 water and 8 food, but say we're running low and we have 1 water and 1 food, and I really need to play a 2 food costing card. I still can. I'm not stopped from playing it, but any insufficiencies that I have in my resources when I play the card will come out of my health instead. So in an emergency, you absolutely can play that card. It's just going to cost you some of your life to do it. So we can also go to our crafting menu, and we have a great big crafting tree here, although we don't have enough sticks to do any of that yet. So small fire, plus 2 max food, or planning, plus 1 hand size, plus 1 scouting level. That will be interesting things to develop later, especially comfy pillows, heal 1 at camp. That sounds like a great time. And we can craft new cards as well. So we have a hiking staff or a walking stick. A hiking staff gives Slorf 2 actions, exhausts, but is free to play. Or a hiking staff requires a walking stick and some grass, gives 2 actions but does not exhaust. I think we can craft that. New card added. So with our camping done, we've done our deck management, our crafting, we're ready to start the next day. And you can see all of the nodes on our adventure before our finale. Let's get after it. Goal, clear all enemies. Evasion, be aware. That pesky bug has evade, which absorbs all damage on the first hit. Evade is ignored by blunt weapons. Interesting. So that's what the purple swirl is, I presume. I'm hoping that doesn't renew every fight, or every turn rather. But we will see. What else do we have around the board? Triobelisk. Harvest to choose a new card from 3 options. That's really good. That's just a mid-game booster. Petroglyph. Enter to discover a new recipe. Enter to discover a new recipe. And some enemies around and about. A Grimp Eye. Isn't that what we needed for our quest? Isn't it a bit early to be getting that? Maybe we need a giant Grimp Eye for the main quest. In any case, we need to play some cards. We can refresh our water if we are next to the fish pond. Slorf restores all water when adjacent. Harvest, gain a card fish. Interesting. Right. Let's start with an explore. We'll get the recipe. A club. And do you have one action? You do. I'm going to come over to this stone. We pick up the stone, so now we can throw it as a weapon. And over here, we want to come and fight the bee and the runt. Stone. Attack target in range 3 for 1 damage. Destroy card when used. Alright, let's get rid of this thing's evade. Everything else moves in the initiative order. This thing has 2 attacks, which is not ideal. However, if we explore, we can hit it and then take a step back. Over here, the pesky bug has flown over to us. Let's hit them. Gather the experience. And I don't want to stand next to them yet. Let's just end our turn. They move closer. They move closer. We've injured them already. So it's going to cost a lot of food, but let's take a lazy. We can hit them. And we can gather their corpse for sustenance, which is interesting. Let's do that because we'll want to move in the next turn. Then here, just attack for 1, I think. We don't need to rush at all. Okay, the enemies are cleared. We have our make camp card, but I would still like to gather up a load of these supplies. It's going to be tough with how much food we have left, though. We have 3 water. Charged target in a straight line for 3 range. 1, 2. Let's walk to this experience. We will forage a fish. Did I get the fish? I did not. Not sure. We're going to rush. Oh, does it have to be an enemy? I guess it has to be an enemy. That's annoying. Walking stick, though. We'll go 1. Oh, we have to harvest. Okay. I'm learning. I'm learning. We can probably get over to that recipe, though. sandals on resolved, +1 action from cards for 2 turns. Over here, we have 3 water left, so I want to forage this. New card. The strange markings of the glyph excite the Slorf's neurons. Scrounge. Give Slorf 2 actions. +1 food gained while moving. Work. Give Slorf 1 action. No attacks. Reduced food cost of random card in hand by 1. Second wind. Give Slorf 2 action. Recover 1 random exhausted card into the deck. Ah, now we're getting far too complicated combos for me already. Give 2 actions. +1 food gained while moving. That seems like a free movement card, really. Let's take that. Did not go into our hand. We have 4... Oh, it did. We have 4 energy left. Let's grab a stick. I really want to get to this eye. Let's go 1, 2. I'm going to pass for the cost of a stick. No, for the cost of a rush, because that's 2 water. We have water to spare over there. We're going to take explore here. We're going to grab grass as a resource and the Grimp Eye. What is this? Share. Also applied to adjacent Slorf. 2 water, 2 food, I think. Right, time to make camp. Oh, bunch of stuff. Then we are gonna... Let's start with the crafting. See what we can do here. I don't think we have enough fire for that. Not enough grass or fur for that. A club, a branch, and sticks. A hiking staff, a grass and sticks. Give Slorf 2 actions. Doesn't get discarded. Attack adjacent target for 2 blunt damage. Evade is ignored. I'll take a club, because we have a spare branch. Lost 1 water. And then if we want to go and improve our cards, we certainly can. What do we want out of all of this stuff? So our Grimp Eye is in our effect slot, as is the club. We can't pull stuff out of the active deck even if we wanted to, it seems. What could we get for 4 to upgrade Scrounge? Upgrade with selected card. There's currently a 2 food, 2 and 1. 2 food, 2 and 1. I don't think that changed. Could just be me, but... +2 to food gained while moving. Okay, so maybe the food gained doubled. Perhaps it was that. Right, we have no extra supplies. Let's start the next day. Bordering plains. Let's have at it. Take notice, that rock Grimp has armor, and each point will absorb 1 damage. Armor is ignored by piercing weapons. Which one is that? Not the one that is literally a rock. Oh, there it is. 1 action to do 2 damage with Spit Eye. Pile of goo we can harvest. There's a thing there. Recipes. Our old stump full of mushrooms. Okay, starting here. What are we gonna do? Let's go and grab this rock. Then it's Holger's turn. I've just kind of become acutely aware that the hand is persistent even across the different members of the team. You have 2 health but 1 action. Can't throw a stone that far. Let's explore over to here. Then we can get some mushrooms back afterwards if needs be. Speaking of bees. Right, 1 damage within range 3. There's not a strong hand for this, is it? Walking stick. I guess we're stood next to them, so while walk sounds like a movement card, technically it's 1 action, so we can spend that action attacking. These two get ever closer. This is going to evade our first attack, but we can hit with a club and evade is ignored. Love to see it. Let's see, what do we want up here? Let's take and explore. We'll get a 2 food rebate and 1 XP. Then we need to worry about getting through this guy. Actions 1, so they still can't get to us yet. I'm going to walking stick to here. Then we have 5 food. Oh, we have to harvest the tree stump for food. Alright, you're coming to here then. You're moving 1 up. We're going to rush. We're going to rush to here. Their block is down. I think we're going to get hit. Forage. Harvest a tile within range 2. Alright, let's harvest this food for next turn. We have been hit for 2. The armor is not returned, which is good. I hit you. And I step away. And here I move forward 1 and attack 1. Good, enemies are cleared. We have our foiled make camp card. I'd love to get more of this stuff, but our supplies are not high right now. And if we use this Grim Pie, it will be destroyed forever. Not just for this fight, but forever. So that's going to be a careful balance in how much food and water we want to spend on possibly getting other things right now. Like, I could have a Grimp shell. I could have a large meat pile. Alright, let's consume this. We both get food and water. Then we have motivation, which is move 3. Let's go 1, 2, 3. We get a Grimp shell. Harvest adjacent tile. If you gain an item, card, or resource, gain 2. Interesting. Right, we're just going to walk for 1 towards this food. There's a pond of water here that we can recover if we need it. This needs a harvest card. Let's go to sticks. Is this anything? This is just grass. Go to the water. Here. Forage. Harvest tile within range 2. Alright then. Let's harvest the 3 meat. No, we're only 2 meat short. And here I want to Grimp shell the nut tree. Harvest adjacent tile. If you gain an item, card, or resource, gain 2. Consume destroyed card when used. Oh no, it dropped the stuff rather than actually giving it to me. Fine. Walk here. And you... Should we go the long way round? You have loads of food left. Take 2 actions, learn a recipe. The Nut Flinger. Attack a target within range 3 for 1 damage. That sounds great. I want one. Here, we're gonna motivate to get a couple of nuts. Here, we're gonna walk onto a pile of goo. And I think with that, I'm probably ready to make camp. Alright, I think we got hit once. Possibly for 2 damage. Yeah. So we got hit a little. What's going on with crafting now? So we can craft a small fire, which gives us +2 max food. Or we can craft some planning, +1 hand size, +1 scouting level. I don't know what scouting level is. But I'm going to take +2 max food here. And now we can do a cozy fire. 2+ max food, added dex slot of movement. +1 max water. Comfy pillows, heal 1 at each camp. We have not even seen fur yet. A nut flinger, a nut and a grass. I will craft a nut flinger. 1 water. Can I see my cards, please? Deck. A nut flinger. Attack target within range 3 for 1 damage. This is excess cards. So I can swap these out for my excess cards now. Club or a rush. Alright, I'd like to have more attack cards, but that's just the way of the world for right now, I guess. We have 4 points to spend on a possible upgrade. What's our worst card? Probably lazy. Bumping a lazy down to a 2-cost explore. I could make another nut flinger, but I don't think I want to have just 2 nut flingers in the deck. So let's go after the next day. Tell you what though, that is 3 encounters up to where we are, and there seems to be 3 more. We're coming up to the half hour. Join me tomorrow. We will see what happens in the back half of this adventure. For now, thank you ever so much for watching. If you want to play this yourself, there will be links down in the description. The release date is August 30th. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to throw those down in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Cheers.